Hello from Tokyo. Today I'm going to do another hydrangea painting, and this time I'm going to use a gold base. So I've painted the sides gold already with paint that's not been mixed with pouring medium initially, because often the metallics don't stick to the sides very well, so I recommend you paint it first. And then I'm going to do the hydrangea. I'm deciding right now whether I do the sides again like the other two paintings or in the center, like just have two in the center like this. So I'm going to use this white, the titanium white that I used for the base in the last couple of paintings that I had left over. That's going to be the color of the petals. And I'm also going to use pearl violet, but I don't want it to dry into a dark violet color. I want it to keep this pearl violet as it is, just a slight shimmer, almost like a light pinky lilac color, I guess. Pouring medium is a clear PVA glue and water. Apart from the pearl violet has a tiny bit of US Floetrol, the other two don't. It's 70% PVA glue and 30% water. Very, very, very fluid, as you can see. And this is the water balloon. I'm continuing to use it because it hasn't leaked yet. And I will be wiping the balloon with a paper towel after each balloon smash. I've got some pantyhose on this because I mixed it straight in the paint pot and there might have been some lumps. So now I'm going to squeeze it out and lay down the vase. I feel I get more air bubbles with the metallic colors. But anyway, we will pop all those bubbles out with a torch and then start to lay on the colors or the white. And I am going to go for the center instead of the sides. Let's just do something different. I don't want to put too much paint down and then overblowing it so it's too large and most of the gold gets covered up. So I'm not putting down as much at the beginning here. I'm also putting the pearl violet directly on top of the white as much as possible because, as I was saying before, I want it to dry a pearly, light pearl color rather than dark. So now I'm going to blow all of it out and I'll come back to you when we start to balloon smash. So I hope you enjoy the video today. Let's balloon smash. You know, I think you could also draw into the center and make it into like a peony flower. That would be quite pretty as well. But we're gonna do the balloon smashes today because I'm making a hydrangea. Let's see how this works out. I have the dotting tool with a bit of the white on the tip of it to try and draw in extra petals, but I'm having real difficulty with this. I think the white paint is too fluid. Can you see how it's pooling a lot? And I'm not able to get the effect that I want on top of the gold, like I could do with a darker color on top of a white base. Even after I do the straw blowout, it just doesn't look right. So I'm just kind of like tweaking it and getting rid of what I've done. And I'm gonna have to just leave it and not do that because it just isn't working. I'm trying it one more time here, but it just doesn't, I don't know. Maybe I should have let it dry, but I just didn't feel it. So I'm gonna try something else instead. Also, the hydrangea looked a little bit too small, so I'm going to add some extra paint and blow that out and do some more balloon smashes to expand its size. It's probably a bit difficult to see, but I'm now pulling in the gold paint into the white to try and define the petals a bit more. What I've realized with the white on gold, if you try and do too much to it, it becomes very unnatural looking and harsh as well. Like harsh lines don't work on this, so I'm keeping it as subtle as possible. I feel like something is missing, so I'm going to do the middles this time. I'm going to mix up the violet with the white and make a kind of a dark lilac color. And then I'm going to do little dots in the center. And after I've actually put the paint down, then I'll get a dry dotting tool and I'm going to try and make it look a little bit more natural rather than dots. You can always use a toothpick or skewer or anything with a sharp end to do this and just put a little bit of paint on the end. I think it needed a little bit of color, and you do often see hydrangea, at least over here, which has got this kind of white and purple contrast as well. So that's what I'm basing it on, and I'm glad I did actually add the center bits for this particular painting. So it took quite a while to do this. In a way, I wish I'd got a stool or a chair to do this because I got some lower back pain. So please be careful when you do this. Maybe just sit down when you do it. Let's have a look at the wet version of the finished painting. Super pretty, isn't it? Don't you think that the purple middle or the lilac middle has made a big difference? Let's go in for a closer look and you'll see what I mean. And can you see how the white kind of goes almost transparent on the gold? So pretty. There must be a way of doing this in an even more effective way. I would love it if I could have just got the pearl violet on the edges or just even the centers. I don't know. It's so hard when you're blowing these out. There's so many different factors. I'm happy to have tried it on the gold base. I really like it. It does remind me of Nihon-ga, like Japanese style paintings. Let's look at the dried, finished version of the painting. The sides worked well because they were painted initially. You can top it up a bit as well afterwards. I I can see one tiny bit of splitting on the right of the white paint. Just there on the right. And I think it's because it's such a thin paint. I could go a bit thicker with the paint. I just used leftover base paint, right? So I probably could have added a bit more white paint to that mixture, thickened it up a little bit. I really love how, because it's thin, you get all this gold coming through though. I'm not sure if you can have it the other orientation, maybe. But I do feel like there's something missing here. Like I should have done an extra flower on the top there or put a leaf there. Like I could paint that on afterwards, but it's never so good painting on top of the gold. So maybe the best thing would have been to actually paint the leaves first and then tape it up with masking tape and then pour the gold and white over. Then again, I wasn't sure at the beginning whether I was going to do the florals on the side or in the center. I think painting it on the sides would have been pretty cool as well, actually, but still maybe needed some leaves. Can you see here how the pearl violet has dried? It's stayed this kind of pinkish light lilac color, exactly how I wanted. I wish there was a little bit more of it, but that was what I was going for. See how faint it is there, but that's it. I probably should have put a whole lot more of it. Now I know. Put down more pearl violet if I'm going to try this again. So what did you think of this combination with the gold background and the white and the pearl violet? Would you try this version too? I hope you enjoyed the painting today, and thank you so much for watching as always, and see you next time. Bye!